Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Good, good. Um, Lizzie told me 9:15. I'm a person that believes that being on time is the first part of being professional. All my appointments run on time. All my classes run on time. I start on time. I may end a little late depending on how the discussions go and how conversations go, but that's a big thing in the barber industry is being on time is respecting people's time. If anybody in here has ever, if anyone in here has ever had their time wasted, you understand how irritating that is. So imagine paying somebody to waste your time. That is crazy. That's the first thing I like to say to anybody before we talk about any haircuts, before we talk about anything as far as skill level. There are a lot of things that go into barbering that are outside of just cutting hair. You have plenty of people that can actually do the service, or even cosmetology for that matter. What's up, bro? How you doing? You have plenty of people that can provide the service, but there are other. What's up, bro? Morning. There are some elements of the service that don't include just the haircut, but include being professional, your conversation, your expertise, just the entire experience, how things go. So, my name is DJ Zachary. I am the co-owner and operator of Ice Trace Barbershop here in Lawton, Oklahoma. This is the start of year 19 for us. The end of this time next year, we'll be celebrating 20 years in business. It's been a blessing, man. It's been a great ride. I can't say enough about what the barber industry has done for my life. It's changed my life. It's improved my life. It's empowered my life. It's allowed me to give opportunity to other people to help them change their lives and empower their lives. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me outside of personal accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? My marriage, my children, things like that. As far as the career path goes, I was a nerd in high school, so to speak. I was really good at school, but I was also bad. So I ended up crashing out early. What's up, homie?
What up, what got?
I'm good, homie. I ended up getting myself in trouble early, going to prison at the age of 18. I came home at the age of 24. At 25, I left the shop that I was at, started with Trey. We started Ice Trace Barbershop. Like I say, it's been morning. Like I say, it's been 19 years, and I can't say nothing except for good things about the industry. Every year has been a blessing. It's been straight climbing up. We've never had a down year. We've never had a financial setback that we couldn't recover from, anything. Everything that we've done as far as investment-wise into the business and into our careers has paid off. And that's it. Everybody in here on Instagram? Yeah? Okay. If you're not on Instagram, you are definitely missing out on opportunity. Not just what's going on in the culture, but what's going on in the industry, both sides, Cosmo and barber. I'm in the first group of barbers to get deals. I'm in the first wave of barbers to get brand deals from companies throughout the industry. And so I work with a product company called Exotics. I work with a clipper company called JRL. I work with a barber apparel company called Barber Strong, and then a barber clothing company called Barber Life. And I think that's everybody. The advantages to having things like that going on are obviously the money thing. Everybody pays a monthly retainer, so you getting a check every month from everybody, different levels depending on what you're doing. I get paid particularly for education from JRL and for content creation, and then content creation for every other company that I work with. So if you aren't into content creating and it's something that you think you want to get into, don't hesitate, man. Start now. Don't wait to buy a camera. Don't wait to buy the fancy thing. Buy the phone, because you got a phone. Use your phone and just get started. It's just like some of y'all are at the beginning stages of cutting hair. Some of y'all are in the middle. Some of y'all getting ready to graduate. So you all know that when you very first starting and you don't know anything, your haircut suck. It's going to be the same thing if you getting into content. At first, it's going to suck, and then as long as you stick with it, you'll get better. It's just like cutting any type of haircut, any type of style. The repetition is where it's going to pay off. Any questions so far? Any comments? Who in here is getting ready to graduate in the next 2-3 months? Okay. Dang, you almost done, bro? 31st. Man, okay. Man, that was fast. How long has it been since I've been here? It's been a year? Oh, wow. Wow. Man, there's been a lot going on in that year. Okay. Who's all like halfway through? Okay. How y'all enjoying this so far? Yeah. And everybody else is just starting, I'm assuming, in the first beginning parts. Okay, you ain't just started. Well, you about to be done, ain't you? Oh, okay. All right. Getting everybody ready for the state board, huh? Okay. Um. Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So yeah, barbering is something that, as many of y'all can see, if you are on Instagram or if you just following the industry in general, it is on a very upswing right now. It's very popular. It's super, especially financially, it's super good. It's way. I'm from the era where haircuts was $10. I have a flyer that I share from time to time. When me and Trey first started, haircuts were $7. I've cut hair for $7, standing in a barbershop as a professional. My price right now is $50, $75 with your beard. To be still in the industry as the prices get to have this upswing is crazy for me. It's almost surreal. It's something that I thought I wouldn't see. I never thought that it would be at this price point. Don't get me wrong, I was living good when haircuts was $20, $30. I was hustling hard, you know what I'm saying? And I still grind as hard. So now the reward is even pretty much double, as the prices have pretty much doubled. I know a lot of y'all, if y'all on the gram, have see a lot of this pricing arguments and clients giving pushback against the prices going up, and that's a real thing. I have had clients leave. I have had clients complain. One of the first things I'm gonna tell you is if you're getting out of school, understand this whole charge what you're worth thing. Understand your worth. You can charge what you're worth, but you don't get to determine the worth. The value is actually determined by the clientele. So I could have a $50 price point all day long, but if ain't nobody booking no $50 haircut, it don't really make sense. You know what I'm saying? I could have a $100 price point, but if I'm not booked, I'm only making $200, $300 a week. It doesn't make sense to feed my family. But if I have a $30, $40 price point and my chair is rolling, that's fine enough for me because I can make $2,000, $3,000 a week, $30, $40 a cut. Is it gonna be a grind? Absolutely. But this is part of being in the trade that you in. This isn't some easy to do thing. The task itself becomes easy after repetition, but all the other parts that are still moving parts, the understanding how to treat your clientele, understanding when you've made a mistake, somebody may come back, somebody may not come back, understanding how to book clients, how to rebook clients, all the stuff that y'all learn in here, I'm sure is just like every other school. People feel like, oh man, we ain't finna be doing all that. Oh man, I ain't finna be doing all that. The way the industry now is, you're probably gonna be doing all that. You have kids with straight hair that want perms. I don't know if your hair is permed or not, but people that don't have color, that want color, and they want this coming in the barbershop. Like, we haven't really gotten into color services yet, but we're gonna have to because clearly that's a thing going forward. We hadn't really gotten into perms yet. We all know how to do them, but nobody wants to really stink up the shop doing it. But the few times somebody has requested it, we give it because that's the way the industry is going. When I started cutting hair, basically bald fade, taper fade, shadow fade was pretty much what you was doing. Here recently, you had the comb over, you got the pompadour, you got the fringe haircut, you got all these other looks that are coming about that now require shear work, that now require clipper over comb. You can't just use your guards for everything. So older barbers like myself that didn't really use shears had to double back and be like, okay, you got to really learn what we're doing now. We have to kind of tap into the Cosmos side of things because if you really want to benefit from the industry, you don't want to be turning people away at the door. You don't want to be the person that's like, oh, I can't do that. I mean, you could, you're going to end up finding your niche anyway, but how can you really find a niche that you're really good at if you only know one or two skill sets? If you have all the skill sets, then you'll understand, okay, well, damn, these haircuts do take a little longer, but I can get paid more. I really like the creativity that comes with them. I'd rather do this. Or you just may be a simple guy like myself. I love to just do good old taper face, bald face still. To this day, I'll do everything else if you book it. But what you got, bro, all day long is I love it. Hey, yeah, man, I got you. Rock and roll. I can do it on autopilot. But you also have to be able to provide what everybody else wants because if I can only cut your hair, you, maybe one or two other guys in here is the limit of my clientele. That's all I got. Now, if I can't do anything else, then I'm just stuck. If I can't apply color, if I can't I don't do that. I don't even do twists. You know what I'm saying? But things like that. I don't know if people want to get into certain things. And something that I want to speak on real quick before we get off of that is don't be afraid to try things because you think they're gender. There's a guy in Oklahoma City right now named PJ the Barber. I don't know if any of y'all know PJ. PJ has been doing $250,000 a year for about 5 years straight right now. And he does twists and haircuts. That's it. PJ will take your locks off, cut them off, reattach them. All the stuff that can do with lock work, he does it. Plus, he's a dope-ass barber. He's been making $250,000 a year for sure for the last 5 years. I mean, I haven't gotten into it because I've been so busy into the content creation, the education, and all these other things, but the limits with these industry, the possibilities within the industry are almost limitless, especially for the price point that we get into the industry at. Whatever school costs now, I don't even know. It was like $6,000 back when I went. $20,000 right now? Ooh, hold up, let me get some water. Shoo.
It's actually just over 20.
Wow, okay. I mean, but that's still, you got to think $20,000 in order to be making $100,000 in year 2 or 3 if you're sticking with it right. You can hit $50,000 easy your first year. $1,000 a week as a barber is super easy in your first year, bro. That's not that many haircuts. So if you think that $20 an hour is a decent job around here, $30 an hour a job around here is decent, just think if you can cut one haircut an hour, you are at that price point, whatever that is. I believe, I'm still from the old school, I believe you should be as efficient as possible. You should be as efficient as possible and fast as possible. I still book my haircuts for 30 minutes. So if I get busy on a busy day, I might have 15, 18 haircuts at $50 a pop. That's a great day for me. You know what I'm saying? Now, will I be tired? Absolutely. David can tell you, I will go take a nap on my lunch pretty much every day because I know I'm busy. And in the afternoon, I need to be some type of rejuvenated. Whatever you got to do to learn to actually apply that hard work ethic, you're going to have to do it because this is not going to be a simple task just of, it's not easy money. It's a simple task, but it's not easy money. Let me say it that way. So we can go ahead and get started on the beer service. Any questions, any comments, any? Huh? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Come on, bro. It's out? Oh, okay. No, wait a minute. Y'all do. I think this is right here. Yep. The mic connected? All right. Oh, that's fine. So since COVID, sanitation practices have kind of peaked up and people are more aware of what they should and shouldn't be doing, especially the clients. So I still stick with the gloves even after COVID, just because also I find clients are a little more comfortable with you doing, especially guys are a lot more comfortable with you doing their beard work, touching all on their lip and all these type of things. If there's just this little piece of plastic on your fingers, it makes a huge difference. Again, shout out to Barbara Strong for the cape and the aprons and the, oh, I didn't pop this thing off of here. And they now have pants that I'm wearing today. They pretty comfortable, kind of like scrub pants, so to speak. But everything's water repellent, color repellent, hair repellent. I'm sure some of y'all have gotten out of here at the end of the day. Hair all in your shoestrings, hair all in your clothes, hair all in your shirt, stomach be itchy. So, feel free to check them out. Also, breath mints are important. Because in reality, there are very few instances where you're going to be this close to a person and it's not uncomfortable. Being a barber or a stylist is one of those very few. Doctors, I'm sure there are some other people, but for the most part on your day-to-day, you're never this close vicinity with somebody. So hygiene is important. Smelling good, cologne, just making sure that you don't stink, pretty much. So I came up with this beard service because when beards got popular, I noticed that a lot of guys just really didn't know how to take care of beards. And going to these shows, which is why I tell people go to expos and shows a lot, gave me an idea of what was coming with the popularity of beard industry. And I ended up taking a class with a lady from DC. We took the class in Atlanta. She was an esthetician. She doesn't even trim the beard. She doesn't do any clipper work, razor work, nothing. She doesn't do any cutting of the beard. She gets $50 a beard service. Now, her treatment is a lot more in-depth than what I do. Mine is basically a facial for the beard. What she has like a microscope thing that goes under the beard onto the skin. She can diagnose, because she's actually an esthetician. She deals more with the skin. Yeah, she does the skin analysis. She deals more with the skin, like people that have ingrown hairs and things of that nature, to try to make sure that their beard gets to grow in full, because you'll get people that may have the capability of growing a beard, but there's something going on with their skin underneath, so that's why the beard really isn't healthy and it's not growing. So if they could deal with that, then they could have the full luscious beard that my man Dom here, it's Dominic, right? Yeah, I remember that, see? It's one of the things. He been in my chair one time. And I remember I nicked his head real good, cut his head real good. He ain't been back. I don't know if that was why or why not, but just as a barber, you understand those type of things. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be aware, like, plenty of y'all have been out to eat. Sometimes you'll go out to eat and don't really have a good experience, and you won't complain to nobody. You just won't go back. You know what I'm saying? Some people will. Some people will speak to a manager and all of that, but some people just won't go back. Just be like, I don't rock with that place at all. Same thing behind the chair. Somebody may visit you one time, come back. Somebody may visit you one time and be like, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't my thing. Never come back. So, like I said, I took it from an esthetician whose thing was the overall health of the beard. And I noticed most barbers are really just slapping a piece of gel on there, a little bit of gel out of a bucket. If that, now I see a lot of dry shaving because everybody want that ash line. And just not really caring for the beard. It's you just picking at the face. You just dry pulling this man's breakage, causing breakage on his beard when he's trying to have a full beard. And so I came up with the service to obviously make more money, but also to have a treatment and have a reason to be charging more for the beard service as beards became more popular. It was the easiest way for me to be able to raise my price from $30 to $50 initially, because it was, I think, $20 and $35 with a beard. And I was trying to figure out how I could get to more. Being from Lawton, I understand that you can't just kind of just up your price just cause. Your initial reaction is probably gonna be like, man, what you think, this is Dallas or something? What you think you're doing? You know, we're really still a small town. So if you do something that's a little bit out of the norm, you're gonna get some pushback. So you have to have an actual value to what you're doing, because if somebody asks you, why are you doing this? And you don't have an answer, now you sound like you're just trying to scheme them for a couple extra dollars. So when I lay a person back and I start the steam and they say, what's this for? It's not, well, it does help you relax, but the steam is to open up the follicles of the hair so that the products that I'm about to apply really take in, and so it really helps improve the beard. Oh, okay. If all you said was, oh man, so you could relax, this man might not be trying to relax. It's lunchtime. He got to go back to work. He ain't really trying to, he just needs his haircut real quick and get up out of here. So understanding what you're doing and knowing how to explain what you're doing, especially providing the education to your clients, is super vital. You're not only their barber or their stylist, you're gonna be their therapist, you're gonna be their educator, you're gonna be their confidant. You're gonna learn things about your clients over the years that some other people may not know. You may know a lot of stuff that you don't know who knows what else you know, but there's moments that my clients will speak to me just real low up under their breath and tell me something that they got going on personal. And it's 14 of us now in the shop, Monkey. It's 14 barbers in the shop. So if everybody got somebody in church, 28 people in here. And he still has to feel like he can confide in me and tell me that he's going through something, because I can feel that his energy different today. He ain't his lively self. He ain't, oh, what's up, bro? How you doing? He real quiet. The slow song that came on, he breathing heavy. You know what I'm saying? He might be going through something. You have to be able to talk to your clients, and your clients have to be able to feel like they can confide in you to a certain point in order to establish the type of relationship that when your price point does go up, it's more than just the service and the improvement of the service. It's like, man, that's my guy. I ain't finna go nowhere. Because that loyalty matters as your business grows. So initially, what I like to do is cut down the mustache first. I usually use my trimmers, my clippers open, no guard, going with the grain. These are the new JRL Ghost clippers. They're not necessarily that new anymore, but it's the newest thing that we got out right now. I love them. They got 2 speeds. And like I say, I'm somewhat of a speed guy, so I like to make sure that I'm moving efficiently as possible. Let me turn back towards y'all. When I start the mustache, I start along the bottom of the mustache and along the top of the lip. I do my best. All right, bro. Excuse me. Let me do this. Sorry, y'all. I do my best to trace the line of the lip. You don't want to push somebody's mustache so far away from their lip where there's a lot of skin unless it's naturally like that. It just looks kind of weird to have, most people's lips are more heart-shaped, and then you have this straight mustache like right across the line of their face. You want to keep things contoured to the shape of their face because everybody's face shape is different. So understanding that also is a big thing in barbering. Like, the bald fade is the bald fade, but your head is shaped different than your head. And so if I just put this straight line on there, the way your head shaped me, it may look crazy. You may have something that you got hit in the head as a kid, and now you have this scar, but down the fade looks crazy because it has this gap in it because I wasn't aware of what's going on with your head. So paying attention to the client's facial structure and hair structure is key. If you're still in the very beginning learning phases of cutting, I would suggest, just like basketball, working on being able to use your left or your right, depending on what you're doing. Being ambidextrous. For me, it helps a whole lot with the wear and tear of how much I'm able to cut. Do me a favor and put your tongue and cheek right over me. I usually have my client do that, press out right here in this corner to make sure that the corner is clean. Because most people that have beards, some of them's goatee don't necessarily connect fully. You don't want to cut it off, so you want to let it have as much length as possible, but you also want to be able to get those little bitty hairs that's in the corner. If you have a beard, you know what I'm talking about. You have these hairs that be just right in the corner. You can feel them. If you eat something, it pokes you. It's weird. It's super weird. Other side for me. Here I like to turn the trimmers up because they're sharp. I get that line from that initial line over to the corner where I want it to be, but when I'm cleaning up the hair that's on the corner of the lip, I don't want to cut the lip, so I tend to go up flush against the skin. You good. when I'm doing the top of the mustache, I pick the highest, or not the highest, the lowest highest point. What I mean by that is there's going to be some areas that are higher than others, but they're not full. There's going to be a lower point where the mustache is absolutely full. It's going to be like somewhere around here as I see I can knock this out. And so I try to stay as high on that dark part as possible. Unless they ask me, hey, can you make it thinner? Hey, can you make it thinner? Nobody really rocks the Steve Harvey, but everybody doesn't really want the little Adolf Hitler, drill sergeant mustache. So you got to kind of go through a good consultation with your client, see what they got going on. I can see that yours is going to be thinner than yours. So just most times you'll be going with what they have already, kind of tracing. If they haven't had anything, that's when you have to get a little more in depth with the consultation and be like, hey, how thick do you want this? And it's always better to start with it wide as possible. Oh, no, that's too wide. And shorten up, because I'm sure, as all y'all already know, you can't replace the hair. Once you cut it, it's gone. It's gone. I also like to use trimmers that have that T-blade. Most of them do these days, just because it's easier to get right up under the nose without having them having to do anything to their lips or anything. I do my best to try to leave the client's face natural, meaning like don't do this, all this type of stuff, because they don't walk around like that. And if I can get your mustache and beard right with you just having a straight face, then I know that most of the time when you're sitting there, it'll look good. Sometimes you can stretch the skin or have them do something where now it's a little wavy. The lines aren't as crisp just because nobody walks around like this. So it's a little different. And what I'll do, once I've reached that line, I'll just create that line and follow it all the way down out to the corner of the mustache. Sorry for turning my back to y'all. I just want to make sure everything is symmetrical. Being the same on both sides, symmetry is important. Scientifically, they say that the most handsome and beautiful people are the people with the most symmetry on either side of the face, no matter what the features look like. I don't really know if that's true, but you definitely want to make sure one side isn't outlandishly larger or shaped way different than the other side. Come put a line on the vertical bars connecting the beard to the mustache. And again, anytime I'm going up, I'm trying to reduce the amount of irritation, because putting them flesh on the skin, it does create a sharp line, but they sharp, so it is rubbing against the skin. Oh, you hit up for me? The next thing I like to do is have them hold their head up and see where they prefer their jawline at. Now, hold on for a second. His beard is pretty full because it has it at the bottom. There's some guys that try to grow a beard that don't understand that your beard actually comes from depth. Meaning, if I cut my beard off at my jawline, now I just have this big pork chop of a beard. And that's why you'll see people with beards that just grow out. If you want to teach your client to grow all the hair possible up under here, because that's really where the length of the beard is going to come in, the bulk of the beard. This part is only going to get so high. Some people that get higher than others, but for the most part, your beard is going to come from the body. The body of the beard is going to come from up under the chin. So I always used to ask them, like, would you like it across the middle of your throat, up on your jawline, wherever, or again, because they most likely are some type of groom before they come to you, you can kind of see where it is or where it has been, and if that's where they want to keep it. Oh, you hit it for me? Is that where you want to keep your beard line at? Yeah. There you go. Again, pulling the skin, stretching the skin so you can get a cleaner cut, and putting the trimmers just flush against the skin going up. I do my best not to jab or dig. I just like to be flush right up against them so it's not as much irritation as if you're just scraping. If your trimmers don't get close enough like that, You may want to start looking into zero gapping them. There's plenty of YouTube tutorials on how to do that. Or if you have some of these also come with a tool that you just stick the tool right here in the back and it moves the blade up very slowly. So you don't really have to take it off and do all the put up against the mirror and all the old school tricks that you may have to do with the other brands' trimmers. Any questions so far? Comments? Well, y'all quiet bunch this morning. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Product sales is a must. That's another thing once you get into a shop. Picking a product line that you like and sticking with it and being able to also sell it to your clients. I can turn a $75 service into a $100 service easy just because, hey man, I need some beard oil. Hey, I need some beard balm. Hey, what was that you put on my face? Some guys like to maintain their shave in between coming to see you. If you have the shave products, the shampoo, the beard oil, the beard balm, they'll buy it right there. Most people are impulse buyers. That's why you have candy and stuff right there by the checkout when you get ready to check out. Because, oh yeah, Snickers, I would like that. So if you have those things available, at my station, I have a shelf right behind here. So at my station, he would be turned around facing me while I'm doing this. And within his vision right here would be a shelf with all the products on it. So now while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, he looking like, okay, this must be the stuff he using on me. He starts smelling stuff. So, oh, I like how they, hey, bro, is that the stuff you got? Like, yeah, that's the balm, that's the oil. I don't have the very expensive products because I'm trying to add them as an add-on real quick. So you can get the balm and the oil for $20 together. Most people leave the extra $5. I just made $100 for that same service within 45 minutes as opposed to just leaving with the $75. Because really at $75, it ain't too many people finna tip you, just being honest. They're not finna go ahead and, like, bro, it's already $75 for a haircut and a beard. Like, first of all, it better be right. Second of all, I'm not finna just tip you no whole bunch of money because I'm already at $100. For most of us, that's how we think, like $75 already $100. Because once I put gas in my car and grab me a soda and hit the block after I get my fresh cut and burn that gas, we at $100 easy. Hold your head back real quick. After initial shave, I like to hit them with a little skin rescue. This is an aftershave. Again, the first thing it does is it smells good, but it starts healing that irritation feeling just from the trimmers. You good. Talking to them most times, they're like, man, what's that? You explain what the product is, what it has in it, tea tree, lemon pepper, not lemon pepper. Lemongrass, tea tree oil, eucalyptus oil, things that help heal the skin, things that make it the fresh scent, all these type of things, the healing properties they have in them. Yeah, I was saying, lemon pepper, man, that do sound good for lunch. I think that's what I'm gonna do for lunch. So right now, I'm gonna fade this beard into the baldness up here. When I fade a beard, I don't go any lower than the bottom lobe of the ear, but I like to start right at the opening because that gives me enough room to make this bald and connect the bulk to that without digging too much into the beard. And the reason I don't want to dig too much into the beard is because once you get past pretty much that earlobe, now you're affecting the shape of the beard. Some people may like it more round. Some people may like it more square. You see guys that have it's really, really faded and then it's bulky here. If you look at them from the front, they don't really have much bulk here. They don't have a lot of hair here because it's faded so close. He doesn't really have that. He has a semi-round shape, so I don't want to affect his shape if I don't have to. Clearly, he gets a haircut or a beard trim pretty frequently. It's not unruly. It's not so grown out you can't really see what's going on. That's another thing. If you know what's going on, you kind of see what's going on, you pretty much going to want to stick with that unless he told you something different. Being able to do it, I don't want to say better than the next guy, but better than the next guy is really where you're going to get your advantage at. So with my clippers all the way open, I'll make my first initial guideline right there at the opening of the ear. And as I go up, scooping out, of course, just like when you're doing a fade, it's just backwards. And as I go up, just a little bit above that, I'll click the clipper close a little bit. Click it to close again. And just going over that same motion up into the baldness. If the clippers are set right, shouldn't be much of a line there when you're done. Another reason I like to use that as a, my bad. I like to use that part of the ear as a point to start with is because you don't have to go back and forth trying to guess. Oh, is this where I started on the other side? This where I started on the other side? You know where you started. You started at the opening of the ear. So you're going to do the same thing over here with that same motion, that same scooping motion, that C stroke. I don't know which I refer to it as. The flick of the wrist. There you go. And as you graduating up the fade till it gets shorter, closing the clippers. And there you go. Now see I have a guideline still left here where I started at. I'll grab my smallest guard, which is, I call it a half guard. And then I'll come just a little bit, not quite down to the earlobe, because this is where I can see where its bulk is starting at. It's starting to get dark and heavy. I really just want to get rid of this line from this real light spot to this dark spot. So of course, again, with my clippers open, and I see that the hair is moved. That's why you have to have a tool, a brush or a comb or something, to put the hair back in the place where it's going to actually end up living at. And you just go through the same process. Once you have your fade process and you know what you're doing, you don't really deviate from that process. Whether you're a person that fades up, fades down, however y'all say that, once you find your system of fading, you're going to want to stick with that, because that's what's going to help with your consistency. Again, with the clipper open at the bottom of the earlobe. Going through the same process. You want to be able to have that consistency, because if you have somebody coming to you every 2 weeks, you don't want them getting a different looking haircut every 2 weeks. The reason that they'll have that is because you don't really have a system of fading down yet. You're just kind of doing it as you go. But once you know that, okay, for me, if this was doing a bald fade, I would create that hard line first, then I would curl my clippers open and make that light line, and then I go up to whatever bulk that he's got. If it's waves, I go up to a 2 or 1.5 and start fading down. Other people keep going up with their guidelines. That's fine, no matter how you get to the finished product. My point is, once you have your system, stick with your system, because that's going to help with the consistency. Like, I don't have the time this morning for the burst fade, but I know that's one of the things y'all asked about. Once you have your system, no matter where the fade is, the process is going to be the same. The only thing that's going to change is the shape of the guideline. So if we're doing a ball fade, mid-ball fade, and it's going to come like this, the same way you fade that is going to be the same way as if you're doing a burst fade. It's just that the guidelines are round. You're going to have to go round. Next time I come, I'll try to make sure I can get a model that wears that. I don't have a lot of clients that wear that so far. So, I mean, still wear that haircut. But now that I know that's something y'all request, and I'll definitely try to make that happen. I start on the back of the beard, making sure that I try to come as further to the ear as possible instead of going this way with the line. Again, that's pushing the line in. When people wearing full beards, they want to wear the beard as full as possible. You get some guys that got the whole like Teen Wolf thing, hair coming all the way back here. You just have to decide with them, let them decide where they want that line at. With that line, do they want it squared off? Do they wear it round? That determines the shape of their beard also. You don't want somebody that has a very squared off beard where it comes down, maybe it has that point from here to here, and then you round it off, because now when you round it off, all that has to grow back. The grow back phase, you want to have as least grow back as possible with keeping the line as sharp as possible. It's just like an edge up, which I know that sounds crazy, saying, oh, we got to push it back, but we got to keep it not pushed back. That's the whole thing about edge ups, is finding that happy medium where you know, okay, the edge up is dark, the edge up is crisp. If I go back any further than this, when it grows back, he's going to be light skinned right around this edge. It's going to look crazy. So going along this very back line, just very lightly. I just come straight up to where it fades out. Now when I start here on his cheek, again, I'm gonna start as high as possible. I can see sometimes it has been as low as this dark line right here up under my finger. I don't know if that's necessarily where he wears it at, but without asking, I wouldn't put it there. I would come right here and I would just take it as high as possible, especially on the cheek part. Now, a lot of times, a lot of guys like it a lot more in here for this curve to make it darker. But when you on that cheek, you got to be really, really careful not to cut too much, especially if they have most of the bulk on their cheek. Like right here on this, if you cut this down too far, that takes 3-4 months to grow, that beard right there. So if you dig down in that, I'm not coming back to you at all, because you just rock, man. I'm already bald, bro. Like you just towed my beard for another couple months. Now I got to go to a chin strap. So that part is very, that part I try to be very, very sensitive on the cheek area. As you can see, this part, you have a lot more room to go into. First of all, because it's shorter, in order to make the line crisp, you're going to have to dig in a little bit. But just like an edge up, especially on this curve here, you want to find a happy medium where the curve is pronounced, or the corner. Some people still wear a straight corner, but that transition from vertical to horizontal needs to be very pronounced, no matter the shape of the beard, because that's vital to people. So do you kind of round the beard with the C cup? Like, is it all connected into? Oh yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, if he had hair and he had a taper, I would make my bald line not even pinky width. From the top of the ear, and my tapers usually start diagonal. So from the top of the ear to the beginning of that curve at the bottom of the C cup, I would make bald. And then fading up from there, depending on, I want it mid, I want it high. I would adjust the bald part then. But I usually start with it really low so I can connect it. So I usually connect it first. And then as they be like, oh, no, I want it higher, then I just fade it on out. Because to me, if it can match, it always looks better. The symmetry of it looks better. If the top line goes way in and then the beard sideburn starts way out, I mean, some clients may not complain, but for me, the aesthetics of it, the symmetry of it, it doesn't flow. And when you see the haircuts that are popping on the gram, or the haircuts that most times that people are gonna be like, I want to cut like this, that part is gonna be pretty seamless. You know what I'm saying? Except for that part that's missing, that's bald. So that's the way I achieve that, is just go ahead and do it like a shadow, keep it light, make the line, and then fade out to their desired height of the taper. That's a good question. Any other questions? Comments? Say it again. These clippers are, well, they don't sell them separately. The white set is a special edition. For the clippers, the trimmers, you get the clippers, the trimmers, the single foil shavers, and a blow dryer for $600. But the black version, the Onyx, I think the clipper is maybe $200 and the trimmer is $100, and the shaver is $75, if I'm not mistaken. That is also one of the perks of working for the company. I don't pay for the tools, so I have to kind of remember from when I go to the shows how much they sell them for at the shows, because I never look them up. I get tools. No, like a blow dryer. No, yeah, a blow dryer. Again, keeping with the most possible height of the beard in the cheek area. The price of the tools is getting up there these days, y'all. Is it necessary to have an expensive set of clippers? Not necessarily. Professional sets are going to be expensive in general. But once you know what you're doing, you can give me a pair of cheap clippers and I'll make them work. But that's also the advantage to knowing how to adjust your tools. Because if you give me a cheap set of something from Walmart, I'm definitely gonna have to take the blade off, make it more flush. I'm gonna have to make it as close to professional grade as I can in order to get the results that I'm looking for. But for the most part, if you're sticking with any of the name brands, the JRLs, the Andis, the Stylecrafts, any of that, the Walls for sure, you should be okay. Even their more cost-efficient versions are still great. So one of the things I like to do after that is just kind of double check and make sure that, again, the symmetry is the same on the beard line that's coming when you're looking at somebody. You don't want to get in the mirror and this line is here and this line is here. The less adjustments you have to do after the mirror, the more satisfying the cut. Because the mirror point is supposed to be, you're done. Now, you definitely want to make your client comfortable enough to tell you the adjustments so that after the mirror, they can be like, oh, no, can you do this? Can you do that? Some people just aren't corrective like that. Some people will be like, oh, no, it's good. Get in the car, and the first thing they do is pull the thing down. Then they start looking again, and they're not really happy with it. It's super, super vital that you make your clients comfortable enough to tell you if you did not do it right. I could go on my phone right now. I got a guy that books at 5 a.m. every Saturday. 2 weeks ago, he sent me a picture of his head. I literally missed one hair on his forehead. His hairline is receding a little bit, but I missed one hair on his forehead. He took a picture of it and sent it to me. He was like, oh, I'm not tripping, but damn, this looks crazy. Clients pay attention, man. Good enough. I mean, he's probably going to be hard pressed to try to find somebody to cut his hair every Saturday morning at 5 a.m., so I probably won't get fired for that haircut, but he noticed that. And from here on out, I will be making sure that that area is done. Like if Dom here was to ever give me another chance to shave his head, I will make sure I don't cut his head. That's just, I mean, you know, you have to be able to correct your mistakes and know when you have made a mistake. All right. Lay your head back from me. Any other questions so far about the service?
So we drape, you pulling your drape behind the chair,
The drape, what you mean the drape?
the case.
Yeah, I just do it like this. I mean, this fell down behind the chair. I draped him up with the headrest on. Usually I don't have my headrest on. I just put it around your neck and it goes over the back of the chair. Then I have to open the back of it in order to put the headrest in once I put the headrest in. But I don't like it, oh man. I don't like it tucked behind the client because if he moves, it starts pulling on the, you know, if he sit forward and then sit back, now it's getting a little looser. Now hair is getting in his collar, like, or down there and back, yeah. And they're not gonna be cognizant enough of the situation to be like, oh, I moved, so now there's hair. To them, you got hair down their shirt. You know what I'm saying? So having them, if they start that, being like, hey, hold up, brother. Sit back, and they'll feel you pulling on it to pull it from behind them, and you may even have to readjust it on the neck. I have the blow dryer, the blower that you're talking about to get rid of the hair. If they do that, I usually just unneck strip, undrape, blow the hair, do that again. That kind of is an easy way to also be like, hey, bro, you got to sit still because otherwise I don't want to get hair down your shirt. Oh, okay, yeah, my bad. Problem solved. Now they ain't finna be moving and pulling all on the cape where you can't really get the service done without getting them a mess. All right. So we're going to put the steam right up under his neck and just barely touching his beard. I usually take a small towel and tuck it in the front of the neck strip. Just because once the steam really gets to going, the neck strip gets wet and it feels kind of weird if it's a soggy piece of paper on your neck isn't really comfortable. It's not, you know, not in line with the experience that you're trying to give. This is Exotic Skin Rescue Lotion. It's the lotion version of what I sprayed up on his neck earlier. Aftershave. Has lemon tree and tea grass. You good? You with the hair stripping? I rub it up under their neck before I start the service, again, for the smell. Also, it's one of the most popular products because it's an aftershave. A lot of guys will buy it and just rub it on their face if they maintain their shave between haircuts. So the treatment starts with rose water. Like I said, it's almost like a facial for the beard. Rose water is a pH balancer. You want the pH balance, of course, y'all know why, but also to help with the anti-breakage. When a beard has a proper pH balance, it's hair. It's just like hair when you learn about pH with hair. Can somebody tell me what the pH of hair should be? 4.5 to 5.5. There you go. It's going to be the same for the beard, man. The beard is still just hair. Say it again. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Boom. The next thing I'm going to do is put on a pre-shave lotion. All the products are going to essentially have the same makeup. They're all essential oils, natural products, shea butter, aloe vera, lemongrass, tea tree. The owner of the product line, man, I hate to bring this guy up, but does anybody remember back when he was Puffy then, when Diddy ran the marathon and had the mohawk? The guy that created this product line is the guy that cut that haircut. And he's actually the guy that invented the burst fade. Usher was the first person to wear the burst fade. The owner of the product line beat cancer twice. So the products are all natural. If you read the back, the only thing in them that you can't understand what it is that has the long scientific name is actually the bonding agent to make it all together. Other than that, it's going to have tea tree, lemongrass, shea butter, eucalyptus oil, jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, all those type of things in them. Just because after he had cancer, he couldn't have certain chemicals, and it was a problem trying to figure out how to still get his services. This right here is what I call my Success Sauce Beard Wash. I'm going to tell y'all what it is just because we from Lawton, and y'all here in Lawton. And most times as y'all grow throughout the industry, y'all will realize that a lot of people the industry gets kind of weird. It turns into like this super competitive, I ain't sharing no game because he might be my competition. What I've come to learn is that at a certain level, people are collaborating. They're not really in competition no more. So the more that you can help somebody, the more beneficial it will be for you. I still talk to barbers that ain't in my shop. I talk to other shop owners. I tell them about shows coming up. I reach out with advice. I always try to make myself available because at this point, it doesn't really make sense to be trying to be anti what the industry you in. I'm not going to be anti-barber and I'm barbers. It don't really make sense. So what this is distilled water with a cap full of Dr. Bronner's Castile soap. I use the peppermint because if any of y'all have ever used it, it is like super open you up. Like you should probably wash with it when you're sick. It is just open all your sinuses up. Putting it in this pump, turns right into a foam when you pump it out. And because it's peppermint, I usually add a little bit of tea tree oil in there too because it helps tingle. And it just has a really refreshing smell. Oh, that's what I needed, the hot towels. Yeah, please. So the reason I go with created that beard wash instead of going with a shampoo, because once you put a shampoo in, it's kind of hard to get out with a hot towel. Like you don't have to do a lot of rubbing because shampoos are used to being rinsed out with water that has at least some sort of force behind it. With the beard wash with the foam, as you can see, it's almost gone now just from rubbing. But once you put a hot towel on it and really just let it soak into the hot towel, it'll cleanse the foam. Oh, also in there is charcoal. Charcoal to help with exfoliation and with man, I'm sorry, y'all. That child thing threw me off. And with detoxifying. There we go. Whoa. Yeah, they kind of drippy. Sorry, man, they kind of wet. I like to fold the towel long ways, and the side that's closed, I lay it right across the top of their mustache. Putting my finger in the corner of their nose and their mustache and just pulling it up across their eyeball, over to their forehead. Same thing on the other side. This towel I don't leave on too long. I usually just give their face a good amount of pressure. Act like I'm scrubbing the wash in real quick. And then I remove the towel just because it's for the wash. It's not meant to do anything except cleanse and exfoliate and detoxify the beard. I come back with my pre-shave because I'm going to put a razor on. Oh, that's what I forgot. Somebody got a razor and a razor blade? One of you barbers? Okay. I'll do another round of pre-shave. Okay. You good. I'll do another round of pre-shave just because when I put the razor on it, I want it to glide as smooth as possible. You don't want that dragging. I know super popular right now. Yeah, here we go. That'll work right there, bro. Appreciate it. I know super popular right now is the dry shaving, especially like with ASMR where you can hear the and it looks cool and it makes the line sharp. It does, but you can achieve the same thing with moisturizing the skin and the experience to be a lot different. As a guy that gets beard treatments, I do not want you dry shaving my beard. I don't care how crispy you think it looks. I do not want you putting a dry razor on my beard. It hurts. I do not like it. It's not comfortable. Gel works, but again, it's chemicals, and most gels aren't really meant to be absorbent. So they're not really doing anything as far as making the hair shaft itself soft, so that when you glide a razor across of it, it doesn't. I don't know why I flipped that off. My bad. I got one, bro. Appreciate it. So that when you glide that razor across of it, you don't have that drag. Say it again. Oh no, we good. We good. As the steam keeps going, the next thing I'm gonna add is I just washed it, shampooed it, so to speak. Now I'm adding the conditioner. This particular conditioner I got at a barber shop. I really like the way it smells. But if I don't have that and I have to order my own, I use a website called Wholesale Natural. They'll sell it to you in bulk. You get to pick whatever scent you want in the conditioner. If you want to make it a leave-in, you want to make it a rinse out. It's made for you to design your own product line. They got prepackaged ones where they can just slap your label on there. They got some that you can make from scratch. It's a great website. After I put the conditioner in there, I like to run a pick through it to make sure it gets through, just like with any other conditioner. You want it to absorb into the hair and get all the way in there as far as possible, which is why the steam is going. And the towels aren't really hot, so I ain't gonna leave it on too long. But if the towel was hot as it should have been, I would let this towel rest for a little bit, just because, like y'all know, conditioner needs to sit longer than shampoo for sure, in order to take the benefits. In order for the hair to take the benefits best as possible. I'm gonna have to edit this part out because these I got from Babyliss. But in the shop, I use these hand massagers when I'm massaging in the conditioner into the beard, also for just relaxation. At this point, somebody booking a $75 service, they don't want to be rushed. They probably are into relaxing doing their haircut service. And once I had this done to me, I was like, oh man, I gotta get some of those. This is great. Sometimes I have clients, especially after their first couple times, I usually put them right back in the drawer when I'm done. I see them looking like, what was that? Some client even asked one time, I was like, hey man, where'd you get them gloves? Because you got to think, he can't see nothing. To him, he know I got my hands, but he don't know I got these big old silver Johnny Rocket looking things on my hands. But I got them from Babyliss. I don't know if they still sell them. It's been a couple years. I'm sure they do. But if not, I have a barber that got the Temu version. They seem to be working fine for him. After removing that towel, we're going to go with the actual shave gel. This is a little thicker than the pre-shave because this is what you actually going to use when you put the razor on the skin. Now at this point, I'm going to turn the steamer off because I need to be able to see. You don't want your vision clouded by the steam. Tuck your lip on like this. Now this is the time that I will have the client do this because the line is already made with the trimmers. Remember, what you're doing is you're just cleaning up the line. I'll grab the bridge of their nose and start at the center of the mustache and just come right down to that line that you've already created. For those of y'all that are scared about using the razor, y'all do the balloon thing here? I got a better hack than that. It'll teach you way faster than that. But you gotta be brave. Shave your thigh. The same, because most times when you're gonna do the edge up, you're gonna do this, right? You're gonna pull the skin away from you, and you're gonna use the razor, right? If you do this, and use the razor, you ain't gonna cut yourself but so many times. You'll pop that balloon for weeks up in here. You ain't gonna cut yourself on that thigh, but 1 or 2 times for you be like, okay, the amount of pressure needed is this. So for me, when I get guys out of school, I tell them that that's the easiest way for you to learn the fastest.
Phase 1's your new guinea pigs.
I shaved my legs in phase 1.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
Do you shave them with a straight razor? Yeah. That's tough. Again, I'm just gonna trace the line. I don't need him to blow up his cheek or do anything like that because I already have created a line with the trimmer. My goal is just to get this excess hair and make the line as crisp as possible with the razor. Again, I'm gonna pull the skin and I'm gonna just glide the razor down to that line. My goal is also to, kind of like golf, have as few strokes as possible because at the end of the day, you are scraping their skin with a sharp object. Yeah, I'm naturally left-handed. Well, I do everything with my right except for right. Some barber stuff. With a razor, I use my left hand just because I'm more comfortable. But with everything else, like when I'm writing or if, not writing, but if I'm playing baseball, shooting a basketball, eating, everything else is with my right. And I think that's just because I grew up in the era, they didn't really have a lot of left-hand stuff, so you just kind of had to learn and adapt. After that line is on there, I turn the steamer right back on. Now I'm going to come back with just another couple pumps of the wash. That's to wash the product off. He's not going to get any enhancements, but if in the case that you will use enhancements go on after this step, before any beard oil or beard balm. Because in order for the enhancements to really stick and to really take and to really have a good natural look as possible, you're going to want the skin as clean as possible. Again, I fold the towel long ways, close side across the top of the lip, hand in that corner of the nose. And this one again, just getting rid of that soap, rubbing it in across the cheek. Usually 4 per service. But I usually prepare 5 to 6 just in case I drop one or like you don't want to be right there and then, oh man, I can't really. And I've had it happen where you have to kind of go warm one up. I've had to warm one up in the microwave before. Which that sucks because it's super uneven. It's hot in the middle. After I get that out, after I get that soap off the edges. Whoa. All right. So when I add a little beard balm, Now the balm is to help with the moisturizer, and when I say a little bit, I really mean like less than a dime size. This thing lasts me 5 to 6 months in a barbershop, this little thing. Just because I'm not putting enough in it to, I don't want to weigh it down. I just want it to be moisturized, and I want it to have enough moisture in it to, when I put this blow dryer on it, I'm not just going to cook the hair. I want it to be able to kind of, well, yeah, I do want to cook the hair to a certain extent. But I want to warm it up so that the balm melts even further into the hair while the follicles are open. Same thing with the oil. The balm is a moisturizer. Oil is not a moisturizer. Oil is a sealant. You're going to seal in the moisture with the oil. It was 2 drops. Not much at all. That same thing, the oil lasts me 5, 6 months in the shop. When I give it to clients, most guys overuse everything, so they be back in 2, 3 months. But that's okay, because that's to your advantage. I turn the blow dryer on low heat, high speed. Usually take the towel off at that point so it's not flapping around while you're drying the beard. And the first thing I do is comb down. You could go right with that, but I try not to go directly onto the beard if I don't have to, or directly even onto the skin if I don't have to. Just because my service is more about the comfort. Not more about the comfort, it's about the result, but comfort is a huge part of it. Now I will go up under the chin right here just to make sure this area gets dry, but that don't really take much once you've done, once you come from this angle from the top, I guess you call it. And what you do to one side, you'll do to the other side. So now you got the beard blown out, pretty much like an afro. It's going to be at its fullest potential. I'm going to give it its final shape. I usually take my gloves off at this point because they got oil on them, so I don't want to make my clippers slippery. Yeah, because if you drop them, they're expensive. And even though the company will send me some more, I'm sure going to have a whole phone call and discussion, and it's almost like asking your parents for something else. They're like, well, what happened to what was you doing? Well, you know you're not supposed to do that part.
So your entire beard treatment system,
Mhm.
25 or 20? How?
I charge if it's an add-on for the haircut, it's 25.
Okay.
If you get it by itself, it's 50.
Oh, okay.
And so, also depending on, I do a bald head like a haircut because it doesn't really take me that long.
Right.
So, on my price, on my booking app, I try to keep things very simple. Because if you give a client too many options, first of all, it could confuse them. Second of all, a lot of people are cheap. They'll book the cheapest, shortest amount of service and then be like, hey, well, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? Hey, can you do this? One way I avoid that is the shorter services are a shorter time period. If you just book the beard, it's 30 minutes. I don't have time to do your haircut and your beard if you just booked the beard, and vice versa. If you just booked a haircut and you didn't book your beard, I might be able to fade that top power out and do the clipper line, but I'm not going to be able to give you a whole beard treatment because I don't have the time. I have somebody right behind you. Again, my clients run on time because I run on time. So right towards the end of the haircut, while he's in the chair thinking like, man, he probably could get it in right now. My next client is coming in, sitting down, waiting. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? I'll be right with you. Now the guy in the chair knows, oh, well, yeah, I got to book it next time. But I still would do my best to do something. Trim the edges. I would try my best to do something just so he doesn't feel like I wasn't willing to. I need him to feel like he failed in booking that service so he doesn't fail the next time. When I'm doing the outlining, the shaping of his beard, I'm just going to get rid of the scraggly hairs. With full beards, it's not even that hard, man. Most times you're not trying to affect the shape too much. And if they do want a certain shape, that's something that y'all will end up discussing in the consultation. for the most part, people are gonna wear the beard the same way that they came in with it, just cleaned up like a haircut. I know y'all in the back probably ain't gonna be able to see this, but on Dom's beard, this side is a lot lighter than this side. Can y'all right here in the front see that? So I would give him the mirror. I don't have one, but I would give him the mirror and I would ask, hey, do you want this to be as light as this, or what you want to do? Most times, oh, there you go. Well, so then most times they would be like, oh, no, I want to try to let that grow. Is going to be the most popular answer. Yeah. So I would barely shape this. I would hardly even touch this and try to maybe match it somewhat, but you don't want to make it too short because this is naturally thinner, and it's going to look totally different than if you try to thin this out. You ain't going to take thinning shears to somebody's beard. That's not really it's not a method that I've ever used. Somebody may, I don't know, but I definitely never done it. And then shaping the beard is almost like shaping an afro. You're going to find your system. You're going to find your way of doing it. I've seen barbers do this, where they go straight in. That's fine. If you can get the desired shape doing that, then that's fine. I know barbers that have come across. There's no, in that instance, there's no correct or incorrect way to get to the finishing point. That's all in the system that you create and the system that you're going to be comfortable with. And once you're comfortable with a system, I don't suggest you changing it just because somebody you else knows doing something. Or because most times what happens is barbers see somebody else cutting fast and they're like, oh, I'm going to do that. But if you just stick with your system, the speed will pick up. Take a look at it for me, bro. That'll work. Feel it for me. Feel your beard. So the point is, I already know. The point is that it's not, mine is actually dry because I didn't put nothing when it got out of the shower. Guys that have beards, you'll notice the difference immediately as soon as they touch it because, first of all, it's moisturized. And it's a lot healthier than when they came in. It's been pH balanced, it's been detoxified, it's been moisturized, and you sealed it all in. And it's been blow dry, so it's at its fullest potential, and it's shaped up really nice. I've never had a client that booked it, complain about it, say it wasn't worth it. Most of my bearded clients that get it come back. I haven't had any issues with it. I end up teaching it all around the country here in the last year. It's been a great experience. The mailman? The mail lady? But that's it. Then I usually end the service. Like I said, I give them the mirror. They check it out. They pay me. Hopefully they tip me. If not, it's fine. I set my price point where if I never receive a tip, I will be okay. I appreciate them, but they're not required. I never put pressure on nobody for it because that's kind of weird. You don't want to be, oh man, yeah, leave a tip. Like, I don't even know who says that. I've never been anywhere and somebody does that. That's usually suggested on the coupon or the receipt or something like that. Most booking apps do have it where it's on there. It's an option for them to tip, but you don't have to say that. They'll see that. Other than that, that's the service. Any questions, comments? Man, y'all was the quietest bunch.
No, they ain't.
Yeah. Okay. So past the service. Now that that's done, any questions or comments about barbering, the industry in general, different haircuts, different styles, business? Yes, ma'am. The beer service usually takes me 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, it may be on 10. Mine has a timer on it, so I can see it's usually on 10 minutes, 12 minutes if I'm really we just talking or something like that. For the most part, it's about 7, 8 minutes because you're going to turn it on, and then at the point that you're shaving, you're going to turn it off. Then you'll turn it right back on just for a few minutes to help melt that balm that you're gonna put in it, and then after that it's back off. So if there's a time that I've never had that question, that's a good question. I don't know if there's a time where at a certain point it becomes unhealthy. It does, right? That it can leave it open. I don't know, but I did have the lady has updated her course and she's added a different steamer which blows cold steam, or not steam, I guess mist, but it blows cool mist in order to close the follicles up. And she has an extra set of products to close the skin and all that, but I haven't bought that course yet because it's really expensive. So right now we're on version 1.
Can I add on to yours?
Yes, ma'am.
So I know that when I was doing the aesthetics course, at some point in time, there is a time where this machine can kind of become unhealthy for you. And if the client feels like like they can't breathe. So you do need to kind of ask your client, like, are you breathing okay? Like, is that steam too much? Is it, are you okay? Because if they get to a point, they could get fluid on their lungs and they could physically start to suffocate. So you do need to
Monitor that.
yeah, ask them like,
But I
are
think
you doing
it's,
okay?
I think in that book, in the book, it say 10 minutes though. Or
10 minutes. Okay.
somewhere up.
It does
Somewhere up
say
in there?
more than
Okay.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
See more than 10 minutes, so you about.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. See, and that's the importance of education. I'm a whole educator, be going around the country teaching everything, and I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? Learning what's in your book is vital. Being able to repeat it to clients is vital. When a client feels like you are the subject matter expert, there's a whole different thing than if you just the guy that's cutting their hair. It's a super different thing, and I only know that once I started traveling and teaching, because clients are like, "Oh man, so what are you teaching?" And I'm telling them what's going on, and they're like, "Oh man, it's a lot deeper than I thought." Like, even with y'all being fresh out, if y'all just start telling y'all clients like, "Yeah, man, I'm studying for the exam. I'm trying to learn the bone structures of the face. I need to know that this is the occipital bone. I need to know that these are ocular. I need to know that this is the mandible." Most clients don't even think that barbering gets that deep. They're gonna be like, "Dang, bro, you gotta learn all that?" Yes, I have to learn all that. But that also plays into them respecting your price point, because there's a different level of education. If they just think you just picked up the clippers and just all you did was come in here and learn, just to be honest, they don't really respect that part. You just somebody else that can provide another service. Is your fade tighter than the next person? Yeah, so I may come to you more often. But being educated and being able to explain what you're doing and explain what's going on is something that will set you apart from almost 99% of other barbers. I got 14 guys in the shop. Maybe 3 of us really just go through the process of explaining to our new clients what's going on. This is how you book. This is my grace period if you book. This is what happens if you no call, no show. These are the services. These are the benefits of the services. This is what comes with it. This is what doesn't come with it. This is why it comes with it. This is why it doesn't come with it. Being able to thoroughly explain yourself will help eliminate so much. It's just communication. When I meet people out on the street and they ask me about a haircut, "Man, how much is your cut? Man, I heard you was expensive." I say, "It's $50. I agree, that is expensive. But the average price of a haircut is $30. You want an appointment, you want me to block off your time, right? That's $35. You want somebody that has experience of what they're doing, right? Well, add me another $5. Now we have 40. You don't want to go somewhere that feels unsafe, unclean, not comfortable, you can't bring your kids, right? Add another $5. We have $45. I added extra $5 just because I feel like I'm worth an extra $5. Now we have $50. I've yet to have a client push back on that. Now they may be like, "Oh man, I just say that's too high for me. I can't do that," which is fine. But I haven't had anybody be like, "Oh, that ain't worth it." Because once you are able to explain it, if it's actually worth it, it'll be worth it to them, whether they want to buy it or not. It's just like a Mercedes-Benz versus a Toyota. You may see value in that Benz because it has these features. You may see value in the Toyota because I don't need all them features. I need to get from A to B. It just depends on what they're looking for. But if you don't have those options available, they can't buy the Benz from you. They can only buy the bucket. You know what I'm saying? So you can do $20 haircuts, but you're going to be doing a lot more of them as opposed to if you was doing $30, $40 haircuts and providing those type of services, $60, $70 haircuts, or whatever price points you're trying to get to. The point is you should have the value that far exceeds the price point. So like when people ask about my clients with their beard, there's so much going on. Y'all just learned it. Most of y'all probably can't even repeat it now. So just imagine if you're a client and somebody's like, man, you pay $50 for your beard? Why? Oh, man, it'd be some steam and some pH balance, and man, he got all this stuff, and man, trust me, it's worth it. It's so much that they can't really explain it, but they can explain enough to the next person. They're like, oh yeah, that sound totally different than what my barber do. My barber just kind of pick it out and line it up, and shit, that's it. You lucky if you get a hot towel. So.
Have some videos or anything where we can kind of learn the steps that you be doing?
I don't have them out, but I do have a digital version that I need to finish putting together. So yes and no. I have the videos for it, but I haven't put it together in a course. But that's my goal for the end of the year, is to have my whole website and have everything lined out by the end of the year. I mean, not even by the end of the year, by December 10th, because December 10th this year will be 20 years that I've been home from the penitentiary. So that's a big thing for me, is to be able to step into this next facet of my career, like ready for, like, when people ask stuff like that, because you ain't the first person. So when I get to a class in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and somebody's like, oh man, oh yes, you can buy my digital course right here for $50 or whatever it is. Everybody that's in the room today, if you DM me the word, blah, 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 it'll be half off or whatever, because as I'm growing in the industry, I'm realizing I'm missing money. I don't mind doing free classes because, I mean, the game been so good to me, bro. I'll give it back. But at a certain point, there are people that are booking you to teach, and you are getting paid to teach. So you want to be able to capitalize on that. Yeah, I taught the class in here today, but if y'all want the digital version of this class so y'all can have it forever, it'll be $20 and scan this QR code, blah, 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 blah. So even as you grow in the industry, there's things that you're going to learn. There's new levels. There's this whole influencer educator space that's new to the industry is new. I've been in the industry since before that. This is brand new. And if you're new to the industry, it's a good time to try to take advantage of that, because a lot of y'all that are young have grown up with content, have grown up in the space watching it. So it's a lot easier for y'all to do the things that I'm having to learn to do. I had to learn to shoot the content. I had to learn, like, what even is content? Why are hashtags important, and all the things that come with stuff that y'all probably know a lot more naturally. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. What was the question? Start, bro. Just start. Yes, sir. No, I don't. But by the end of the year, that's my goal, is to. So basically what happened was I started doing content, and then I got the opportunity, and then it turned quickly into education. And so I've been so busy all year, I haven't slowed down to actually create my brand to push as I'm going. I've just been basically traveling and getting paid to push the brands that I have the brands deal with. But the guy that's the head educator at JRL, I've known him since before this. I've known him probably about 10 years now. And he recently hit me up. And this is what you need. You need mentors. You need peers that care about your success. For somebody to hit you up and be like, hey, you really got some motion going on. You need to slow down and make sure that you make yourself valuable for you, so that going forward, if another company is looking for you, when one of these deals is over, you're available and you actually have value. You don't have just what you did for them. You are valuable because you on your own can make money. It's almost the best way he explained it to me. He was like, it's kind of like hip hop now. Back when we was younger, they would sign a guy, you be in artist development. You might be on the label 3-4 years trying to figure out how to get the thing going. Now, if you ain't got your own following in YouTube and you ain't got your own motion, ain't no label trying to sign you. It's the same thing. Like, you have to have something going on. The guy that gave me my first opportunity, he asked me, well, what makes you different than everybody? If I put you on my education team, what's going to make you different? And, bro, it took me over a year to really just have the answer for him. You know what the answer was? I'm from Lawton. I'm from a small town with big success that nobody's ever heard of. And guess what? There are way more smaller towns than there are big cities. So when I get to traveling and I ask everybody, where you at? And we talk about wherever we at. I always say, anybody heard of Lawton, Oklahoma? Most times, no. I go over the statistics. The town is 100,000 people. The median income is 35,000, blah, 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 blah. I make $100,000 a year. For everybody in that audience, most times they're like, okay, I'm going to listen. Because we're in Dallas. We're in Jacksonville, Florida. We're in a place where it's way bigger than what this guy is from, and this guy's killing it. So I know it's possible here. I've had to have the conversation in Tulsa, in Oklahoma City. I've been to Oklahoma City to teach them, like, oh, you can't charge $50 up here. There's 1 million people in Oklahoma City at this point. That is 10 times the size of Lawton. You telling me I can charge this here and you can't charge it there? You just ain't put forth the effort to put the value into the service. You just doing what everybody else doing, bro. You got to break the mold at some point. And it's not even really breaking the mold. It's just following the lead of people that are doing it better than you. At 43 years old right now, most of my mentors are in their 30s. Just because they're doing it better than me. The people that open these doors and opportunities for me are younger than me because they're doing it better than me. I'm going to listen. Just before I came, I wasn't even going to wear all of this. Just before, I'm going to have to edit this out. Just before I came, one of my buddies that worked for Barbara Strong hit me and was like, hey, they recently fired their big and tall influencer. It's probably room for you to get a little more of a check if you play it right. So when I cut this video up, I'm definitely sending her the part where I'm like, hey, shout out to Barbara Strong for supplying these capes and these wonderful jackets. They're a great company. They have these new pants out, blah, 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 blah. Because if I can get a $500 check from them every month and all I have to do is put up 2 posts every week, I'm going to post anyway. Why not? And the posts most times don't even have to be super salesy. They just have to be you in the product. Barbara Strong, go get you one. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So the opportunities in the industry, man, are super far and super wide, especially for everybody because there's somebody else that's like you. The thing that connected me and the lead educator for JRL is we have a very similar story of going to prison and bouncing back, which is why I tell that story when I go, because when I go speak, because there's somebody else in the crowd that has been through that and needs to know, bro, you can bounce back, and you can bounce back good. Like, I know the thing is, I'm going to get my CDL and get this. Some of us really don't want to work that hard, bro. I don't want to go dig ditches. I will if I have to because I have kids. But if I can come and get dressed and be in the AC and talk with my friends and talk about sports and rap and what else is going on and popular culture and all of that, and then leave with $100,000 a year, I would definitely do that. It's not that hard of a math. And that's if you already have. I have 2 violent felonies. I don't know where I could have been if I didn't fuck up early in life. For those of y'all that don't have anything against you, the possibilities are even that much more endless. I'm going to China in 2 weeks for a week with my clipper company. I've only been out the country to Mexico and vacation spots, y'all. I've never been across seas, like for real, for real. A 2-time convicted felon from Lawton, Oklahoma, I would have never thought I'm going to get to go teach Clipper talk in China. The possibilities are absolutely endless. Just depending on what you want to do with it.
What do you book on and why?
I recently switched to Booksy because I realized Booksy really builds traffic for people. I was on Style Seat because when booking apps first came out, that was the first one, that was the original one. So I just went with that right away. As the new apps came along and they developed, I'm old school, bro. I was like, oh, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. But as I started moving around the country, Booksy be at more shows than everybody else. And maybe 12 of the guys are on Booksy, and I'm watching the traffic. And I also run our website. So I ended up, what happened was we got rid of a barber, and Booksy has a boost feature. He had his boost on. And how boost works, as far as I can tell, it kind of, I don't want to say takes over your website, but for our website, what it did was made, if you go to icetradesbarbershop.com, his is the first that you get to see. So people was coming in looking for him, and he was gone. And I was like, damn, what the fuck? How is this getting all this traffic? Like, he didn't even have this much traffic when he was here. But he had left and turned boost on, but didn't change the address. So that's what made me be like, oh, okay, Booksy is really like pushing traffic. So that's what made me leave Style Seat. I've been on Booksy maybe 2 or 3 months.